All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome in. My name is Alexis Miller, and I'm one of the yoga instructors here for Yoga for Caregivers. So today's practice is part of the beginner, intermediate, and advanced series. And this practice falls under the beginner category. We're doing our chair, or we just did our chair yoga, and now we're doing our floor yoga series. So we're working through a series of postures that gets into the hips, kind of into that low back space, and gets into your legs. But this time we're doing it from the floor. So if you have accessibility, you're welcome to work your way up into this. And even if you don't, getting onto the floor can be a great way to kind of change up your practice and check in with your body to make sure, hey, I'm actually doing these postures in a way that feels really supportive for me. So as we get into the practice, a couple things to note. Know that you can extend into postures or kind of stay where I cue you. It's totally up to you. Just make sure that you're following the cues of your body. Also, keep in mind I don't often cue water. So if and when you feel thirsty, of course, please feel free to step off your mat, grab that drink, and join us whenever you feel ready. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and come into a comfortable position. Today, I am sitting on a block. You can be on a block, on a pillow, on a bolster, or you can simply be down on the mat. Legs can be crossed or straight out in front of you. And then we're going to wiggle back and forth, feeling ourselves root into the sits bones. We'll sit up nice and tall here. Let's inhale as we draw our shoulders forward and up, and then exhale as we drop them back and down. One more time, inhale, the shoulders come forward and up, and then exhale as they drop back and down. Find a comfortable spot for your hands, whether on the knees, palms up or down, or in your lap. You're welcome to close the eyes if you'd like, or find an unmoving point and soften your gaze here. From the book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, comes this quote: I wonder if there is a school for unlearning, unquote. It's funny to consider the concept of unlearning in a yoga class. After all, we usually practice yoga to learn something. But how great would it be if we could all attend an unlearning school for the various bad habits we've acquired in our lives? One of the benefits of yoga and meditation is they serve as a school of unlearning. Every time we practice, we create new pathways in the brain, promoting healthy habits we yearn for in our lives. Do enough yoga and meditation, and you'll have unlearned yourself out of reacting to life and learned yourself into responding to it. Today, I invite you to notice if there's anything in your life that may need to be unlearned. Can you breathe into that space, show yourself grace, and make a commitment to keep showing up in your practice? So, settling in, take a deep inhale through the nose, filling your belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale that breath back out. Take another deep inhale, fill the belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale the breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you feel your belly expand outward like a big balloon. And then exhale as you draw that belly button in toward your spine. Inhale as you feel your torso expand, your collarbones gently lift. And then exhale as you feel your shoulders release down and away from your ears. Inhale that air in the nose, down the throat, fill the lungs. And then exhale as you squeeze that air out of the lungs. Feel it move up the throat and out the nose. Continue breathing in this way, intentionally inhaling and exhaling. Just focusing on the breath and the movements of the breath. Now, if you find your mind wanders off on a thinking adventure, it happens. Celebrate the fact that you've noticed it, and then come back to the breath, come back to your inhales and exhales. Now, if it feels right for you, perhaps incorporating a mantra here to help you stay grounded and focused on the breath. Inhale, I am open. Exhale to new knowledge. Inhale, I am open. Exhale to new knowledge. Remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a couple more minutes here today. Take another deep inhale here as you set an intention or a purpose for your practice today, which really can be anything at all, but it often answers the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a nice deep inhale as you feel that intention with your heart and mind. And then exhale the breath out, set the intention off to the side, knowing we'll return to it toward the end of our practice. Lovely. If you're sitting on a prop, let's go ahead and move that off to the side. And keep in mind that we may need a yoga strap here today. You could also use an old towel, a tie, anything kind of long that you can put in either hand. So if you'd like, you can pause and grab that now. You may use it, you may not. You'll figure out as we go. So coming into a seated position on your mat, again, legs can be crossed or straight out in front of you. We're going to inhale, sweep our arms all the way up toward the sky. And then exhale, drop your left hand down to the mat. Fingers are about a foot out from your hip here. And then exhale, lean over to the left as you reach through those right fingers, coming into your seated side bend. Feel that lovely pull through the right side body as you reach through those fingers. Top palm is facing the floor. You're pressing those right ribs away from the body here, staying rooted in the hips. So we're starting off with the 6 movements of the spine. Inhale, let's come back into center, switch arms, right arm down, left arm up. Right hand is about a foot out from the hip here. And then exhale, lean over to the right, reach through those left fingers, seated side bend. Reach through those top fingers, top palm faces the floor. Feel that nice opening through the ribs down to the hip. Both hips are rooted down onto the floor here. And so we're doing 2 of those movements now side to side. This is a great way to open up your body for any kind of practice, whether that's lifting, running, yoga, meditation, swimming. Doing these 6 movements on the spine are a great way just to get your body ready, that core part of the body ready for the rest of whatever you're about to do. So let's inhale, go ahead, bring both arms back up overhead, and then exhale, twist over to the left, right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the body on the mat, curve your head around into a seated twist. So we're sitting up nice and tall. We're not straining, but we are using our arms to kind of twist our body around as much as we're able, feeling that nice rotation through the spine, almost like you're wringing out a towel here, right? Squeezing out all of that water. You can feel that through the spine. Curving the nose around as much as you can. So we bring that twist all the way up into the neck, into the cervical spine area. But again, we don't want to strain. Shoulders are down, face is soft. And then inhale, let's come back into center, arms go tall. Exhale, twisting over to the right, left hand to the outside of the right knee, right hand behind the body on the mat. Curve the head around into a seated twist. So now we're twisting in the opposite direction. Really notice the opposite of sensation here as we shift to the other side of the body. Feel that pull through the shoulder blade on the left side, that rotation through the spine, all the way up into the neck. Soft face, shoulders down. Notice how the breathing constricts here. Oh, I can feel it on this side. Oh, I need it on this side. Good. And then inhale, bring those arms back up into center. And then exhale, hands come down to the knees or the lap. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see the movement of my spine a little bit more here. So now we're coming into our seated cat-cows. We often think we have to be in tabletop for this, but we actually don't. So find that comfortable seat. Again, legs can be out in front of you. My hands are on my knees. They can also be on your lap. We're going to inhale as we press the belly forward, lift the gaze, lift the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades together, coming into a seated cat or seated cow, sorry. And then exhale, press the knees away, hollow out the back and belly, look down to the floor, coming into a seated cat. Inhale into a seated cow, press the chest forward, squeeze those shoulder blades together, Maybe close the eyes, but feel the face tip up toward the sky. And then exhale into a seated cat as you feel the shoulder blades separate. Hunch those shoulders forward, tuck the chin, really feeling that exaggerated movement through the spine. Good. Inhale into a seated cow, lifting the torso, looking up, feeling that nice deep opening through the spine. And then exhale into a seated cat here. Good. All right. And then inhale. Let's go ahead and come into neutral. Great work. We're going to make our way onto our back. And now is the time to grab that strap if you have it, or that other prop that's similar, making sure that your space is free of any props or anything that could get in the way here. So we're going to go ahead and come down onto your back. And we'll start by extending that left leg straight out to the end of the mat. And then we'll raise that right leg up toward the sky. So a couple options. If you'd like to use your strap here, you're going to take it so it's about halfway and wrap it around kind of that center point where the arch is on your foot. And then you'll take your strap in both hands. If you don't have a strap or similar prop, you can have your hands interlaced behind the thigh, interlaced behind the calf, or if it's accessible, you can grab the foot or the toes here. Totally up to you. I'll play with my strap here today. So getting that strap in place or other prop. So now we look like we're in an L position here. Our leg is straight up. We're rooted onto the floor. Feel the low back engage with the floor. Take a nice deep inhale here, and then exhale, gently draw that leg in toward the body, trying to keep that right leg as straight as you can. Coming into a nice hamstring stretch here. Woo. So, a couple options. My arms are bent here, but you can always choke your hands up so your arms are a bit straighter here. It makes it a little bit easier to hold on to that strap if you're using one. Notice the back if it wants to arch and see if you can press that low back into the floor and then breathing deeply. And with each exhale, maybe you're able to move your leg a little bit closer toward your torso here. Keeping that left foot flexed here, engage with the floor gently. We're not straining it, but we are trying to make sure it's not kind of flopped out or even lifting up off the mat. We should be feeling a strong stretch through the back of this right leg. Notice the tendency to want to bend that knee. So if you find that your knee is bending, go ahead and straighten that leg, even if that means you have to let it go a little bit further away from the torso. We want to keep the integrity of the stretch here. And we really want to try to feel that stretch all the way down into our hip capsules. So deep into that hip and perhaps even into the back, depending on how tight you are. Yeah, this shows you just how connected everything is. Let's take two more nice full breaths here. Good. And then inhale, allow that leg to come back up into neutral. Now, if you're using a strap or a similar prop, we're going to grab it in the left hand here and extend our right arm out to a T, out to the right. If you're not using a prop, you can either grab your foot, your calf, or your thigh. And then on the exhale, allow your leg to fall over to the left across the body. So that right hip will come up off the floor as we lower it down toward the floor here. We're getting a nice IT band stretch the outside of our right leg. That left leg comes into a little bit more of a relaxed position as we roll over. Think about keeping both shoulder blades down onto the mat. So now we're getting a delicious twist through our spine. Right arm is extended out. Gaze can either stay toward the ceiling or to bring this all the way up into the neck, curve the nose and look over toward the right here. Now, if you want to intensify that stretch on the right leg, try to move those toes up toward your left shoulder. Woo! Now we're feeling it. Taking a couple deep breaths here, really opening up the outside of that right leg. And if you're feeling it more in the hamstrings, you're not doing it wrong. That is just where you're tighter, and that is where your body is going to really focus on the sensation here. So taking a couple deep breaths. One more deep breath here. Good. Turn your head back so you're looking straight up at the sky, maybe using that right hand for support. We're going to inhale, bring our leg back up into center here, squaring those hips on the mat. Back is pressed into the mat here. Switching hands. So now that right hand is on your strap or prop, or if you're not using one, hand is on your thigh shaft, calf, or onto your right foot here. Good. And then on the exhale, allow that left arm to come out to a T and allow the right leg to fall over to the right here, coming into your reclined Y pose. Oh my goodness. Now we are really feeling that stretch to the inside of that right leg here. Ooh, it's like a hot band of energy. Now, again, your gaze can stay straight up toward the sky. You can also turn it toward the left, kind of creating some counter energy, counter movement here. So allowing that leg to fall over open as much as you can. You can have this left leg on the or left hand on the left hip as well. We don't want to roll over to the side. So we don't want our glute leaving, but instead we really want to press that glute and that hip down toward the floor, which may mean that your right leg comes up some. Notice what feels right for your body here today. Notice where you're at. We're stepping our way into this. We're not forcing ourselves further than we're ready here today. And let's take just a couple more deep breaths here. Good. Inhale, go ahead, turn the gaze back up, bring that right leg back up to the sky, bend the knee, release that strap, and then lower that right leg down to the floor. Good. Even out the hips here and take a moment to notice, do you feel longer on one side? How does one side feel compared to the other? I know when I do this, I always feel longer on the side that I just stretched out. So when you're ready, let's go ahead, do the other side. So lift up that left leg. You may need to bend the knee to get that strap or prop around the foot. Again, kind of in that arch space so it's nice and stable. And we're going to bring that strap into both hands. Again, if you're not using a prop, hands can be on the on the shin. I'm sorry, on the thigh, on the shin or calf, or on the foot. All right. So let's take a nice deep inhale here. Back is pressing into the mat. And then exhale, go ahead and draw that left leg in toward the body. Ooh, I'm feeling it on this side. Goodness. So if you notice a little bit of shaking, that is okay. It is the body kind of getting rid of lactic acid, getting rid of anything that you no longer need. There's a whole practice that I've done before that is totally on trauma release. And when the body shakes, it's actually your body getting rid of trauma response. Super interesting work. Anyway, so drawing this left leg in toward the body, toward your torso here, keeping that right leg engaged. Feet are flexed here gently. Good. Breathing nice and deep. And again, if you notice a deep bend in your knee, go ahead, straighten out that leg. That may mean the leg needs to go away from the body a little bit before you start to pull it in. And notice if you can with each exhale, maybe you're able to pull it in just a little bit more. We want to be feeling that stretch the entire back of this left leg here. Just a couple more deep breaths. Good. One more deep breath here. Inhale. And then exhale, go ahead, bring that leg back into neutral. Grab that strap with the right hand or bring the right hand around the thigh, the shin, or the foot. Left arm comes out to a T, and then exhale, that left leg comes across the body over to the right side here, lowering down toward the floor, coming into this reclined IT band stretch on the opposite side. Again, gaze can stay up toward the sky, or if you'd like, turn the gaze over to the left now. Left arm is reaching out. So not only are we stretching the entire outside of that left leg, but we're also getting a delicious twist through our spine, keeping both of your shoulder blades pressed down onto the floor here. Oh, this feels so good. And if you want a deeper stretch to the outside of that leg, moving those toes up toward that right shoulder as much as you can, keeping that leg straight. Notice how the hips are up off the mat for this one. We're really targeting the outside of the leg. But again, if you're feeling it in the hamstring instead, that is just where you are tighter. It's not a problem. What's important is that you're doing the stretch here. As you start to loosen up those hamstrings with more and more practice, you'll start to notice more of the nuanced difference and may even start to feel it in the IT band. Couple deep breaths here. Good. When you're ready, maybe using that left hand, inhale, go ahead, bring yourself back on up into center here. Evening out those hips, re-rooting your back into the mat, switching hands with your prop. So this time, this left hand is coming to the strap or the prop. You can also have it on the thigh, the shin, or the foot. And then on the next exhale, allow the right hand to fall open to the right and that left leg to fall open to the left, coming into that reclined Y position here. Oh my gosh. We're feeling that stretch to the inside of that left leg now, nice and open here. We're keeping our left glute and hip rooted down into the right side of the mat. Right arm can be out to the T, gaze can be up toward the sky or off to the right if you'd like, creating a little opposite directional energy here. So, noticing what feels good for your body, feel that nice opening here through the inside of that left leg, counter to what we just did. Taking a couple deep breaths here. Good. And then inhale, go ahead and bring that leg back on up into center. Great. Bend that knee. Go ahead and release the strap. Bring both soles of the feet to the floor. Bring those knees up into little mountains. And then windshield wipe your knees back and forth. Just a little bit of a release here for the legs. Good. Just a nice opening. If you have a prop, you're welcome to set it off to the side. I'm going to move it over here so it's well and fully out of our way here. Good. All right, and we're actually in the perfect position here for our next series of postures. So, allowing your hips to root back into the floor here, back comes down onto the mat. We're going to allow our knees to fall over to the left here. Now, you can stay right here. We should already start to feel a nice stretch through the front of this right leg and into that right hip flexor. You're welcome to stay here. Option is to take the outside of the left leg, outside of that left ankle, and bring it to the outside of the right knee. So you kind of lift it up and stack it here, and then allow that weight to gently pull both legs down to the floor. Ooh, now we're really feeling a deep pull through the front of this right leg and into the hip flexor space here. Notice that pushing of the knee down toward the floor. Taking a couple deep breaths here. This is such a good quad stretch. I like it because it's one you can do from the floor. It's very accessible to all body types, all ability levels. You don't have to be good at balancing in order to do this. It's very safe. So, taking a couple deep breaths here. One more inhale. And then exhale, go ahead, press into your left elbow, bring your legs up here and create a figure four. So they kind of stay crossed, but now we're using that left hand to gently press that left knee away. Now, if you're feeling enough of a stretch in your left hip, you're welcome to stay here. Your next option is to lift that right leg, create a nice 90-degree angle with the leg, and use the left hand to press the knee away. You can stay here. Option is to take those fingers, interlace them behind the thigh, gently pull that thigh toward the body while using your left elbow to press that left knee away. Couple options here. We're going for a nice deep stretch through the outside there of that left leg. You're going to be feeling it in that hip. Notice if you're leaning off to the right or the left and see if you can square your hips onto the mat behind you here. Shoulders are down, face is soft. Taking a couple nice deep breaths here. Both feet are gently flexed or protecting our knee joints. Nice deep inhale. Nice deep exhale. Nice deep inhale. And then exhale, gently release that foot back down to the floor, release the hands, uncross the legs. And then coming onto that opposite side. So allow the knees to fall over to the right now. You can stay here. Now we're feeling a nice pull through the front and top of this left leg. But an option here is to take this right leg and bring the ankle to the outside of the left knee and allow the weight of the right leg to lower both legs down toward the floor. So now we're really feeling that deep pull through the front of the left leg into that left hip flexor space here. Taking a couple deep breaths here. Great. And then inhale, let's go ahead, lift those legs up, keeping that cross, and now creating that figure four with your legs. So using the right hand to press that right knee away. Now, if you're feeling enough of a stretch in your right hip, stay right here. Option is to lift that left leg up off the mat, creating that nice 90-degree angle, and use your right hand to press that right knee away. Another option is to interlace the fingers behind the left thigh and to use the right elbow to press the right knee away as you draw the legs in toward the body. This is your reclined pigeon pose. So notice if you're leaning from one side or the other, stay rooted into the hips here. Now, if you're in a regular yoga practice and they come to pigeon posture where you're up, and in the next class, I'm going to demonstrate this. But if you're in regular pigeon posture and you're like, this is not accessible for me, you can always come down onto your back and do this instead. It's much more accessible. It's the same exact stretch, but you have the support of the floor, and gravity is not doing nearly as much work as it is when your body is on top of your legs and over your hips here. So it's a great modification. Always keep this in mind. This is a great practice to do from bed if you don't want to get out of bed but you still want to get a stretch in. Take a nice deep inhale here. And then exhale, gently drop that left foot down to the floor, uncross the legs. Let's do one more windshield wipe back and forth here, releasing the glutes, the hips, the low back. Good. Then last posture here, we're going to tuck our knees into our chest, wrap our arms around our legs, give ourselves a squeeze, maybe tuck our nose up toward our knees, maybe rock from side to side, little roly-poly action if you'd like. And when you're ready, drop the soles of the feet down to the floor. Let's get ready for final relaxation. So you can stay right here if this is comfortable for you. You can extend both legs out toward the end of your mat. You could have one leg in for fallen tree on either side, or both legs in for your reclined bound angle. You're also welcome to lay on your side or on your belly, or you could return to a seated posture if that feels better for you. Just noticing what your body would like here today. And as you settle in, just taking a moment to tune back into the breath, beginning to notice how fast or slow the breath is moving. How deep or shallow it is. Noticing the quality of that breath. Is it fast or slow? Calm and steady? Or a little bit more hurried and short? And see if you can just rest here with the breath for a few more moments. If and when the mind wanders off on a thinking adventure, it's okay, it happens. Notice and celebrate the noticing, and then come back to the breath, come back to the inhales and exhales. If it feels right for you, perhaps coming back to that mantra we used at the beginning of our practice. Inhale, I am open. Exhale to new knowledge. Inhale, I am open. Exhale to new knowledge. Remaining here with your breath in whatever ways best supports you for just a few more moments here today. I'm going to get quiet for this final part of practice so you can have it to yourself. Please know that I'm watching the time and I respect yours, and I will let you out of this posture before the end of practice. So lean back, let go, just rest right here. We recognize that there is a path of mindfulness and harmony that brings about transformation and healing. It leads to true brotherhood and sisterhood, true connection, and true community. Bringing your awareness back to this space, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling the belly, lungs, and chest with air. Then slowly exhaling that breath back out. Taking another deep inhale as you begin to wiggle the fingers and toes, move the arms and legs, gently waking your body up. And when it feels right for you, rolling onto one side, pausing there with an arm or a hand beneath your head. It's here that I invite you to bring back to mind your intention or your purpose that you set at the beginning of your practice that answered the question, why did I get on my mat? Take another deep inhale as you make your way on up into a seated position, and we close out our practice today. Finding a comfortable seat, legs crossed or straight out in front of you, rooting down into the sits bones, sitting up nice and tall. Inhaling, the shoulders come forward and up. Exhale, drop them back and down. Hands come into a comfortable position, whether on the knees, in the lap, or at heart center. Closing the eyes if that feels comfortable for you. We take a moment to express gratitude for yet another lovely day here on earth and for our bodies that allow us to do so many things, including yoga. Thank you all so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. It was a joy and an honor, and I hope to be able to do so again in the future. The light in me, it sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this weekly stretch session for Yoga for Caregivers. Again, my name is Alexis Miller. I'm here every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern, so mark your calendars, set your alarms. Make sure to follow Yoga for Caregivers on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, where you can see all of the offerings from volunteers like me, as well as stay up to date with what our community has to offer. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you in the next practice. Bye.